I've got Robert Thompson here for what is the operating company that you're representing today?
Well, interestingly, we're letting folks know at this conference that our eatertainment platform, we're doing a rebranding, and we are Joy Trade, which is the name of the platform, and
Joy Trade.
we
That's a
have
great name, yeah.
multiple eatertainment brands will snap on to the platform, including more self-developed intellectual property and acquired brands that we'll put on with the criteria that they all must be eatertainment. Um, the inspiration for Joy Trade is that we all live in entertainment in the joy economy, right? So this is just a riff on the joy economy, and we're Joy Trade.
I love that. That's a great name.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so you just jumped right in. So you have created. First of all, you had Jaguar Bolera, which is a bowling, darts, games, entertainment brand, right?
Yes.
Which is open, the first one.
We open next month. The
Next
first
month.
location in Raleigh.
In Raleigh, North Carolina.
Really excited about that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then you also have Camp Pickle, so you've got two primary brands within Joy Trade, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And Camp Pickle is opening next year.
It'll open next year, next summer.
Tulsa?
Denver's the first location.
Denver's the first.
And then Tulsa is the second Camp Pickle location. We do have another Jaguar Bolera that opens up before the Denver Camp Pickle location, and that's in Atlanta.
Atlanta. So and that'll be 2025 also?
That'll be November 2024. You know how these things work. Could slip to January, February, but it's targeted for November of this year.
Okay. So by the end of next year, you'll have the 4 open, right?
Correct.
And then how many in development between those two brands?
10.
10 in development in the U.S.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And as well as some fascinating acquisition topics that we're dabbling with. We just have such an advanced G&A because we've been developing entertainment and operating entertainment brands for so long. We have the personnel that understands how to integrate and operate other brands, and so we can very efficiently put them on the platform.
Okay, so this is so the idea here is that you've had this. What is the advantage of having the platform then for this type of concept specifically? I mean, we hear about it in quick service. It's easier to co-brand and do all sorts of things from a technological standpoint. But why for entertainment? Why does that work?
Well, I think the advantages are there's the obvious ones of why we. In any industry, why we aggregate, right? Because there's G&A efficiencies, but that is not the driver for us. Really what it's more about is the culture and the management sophistication level efficiencies. What I mean by that is, if you look at a casual dining platform, often they have very different brands, and you can't interchange personnel between the two. Different cultures, different, again, sophistication levels, different culinary platforms, beverage programs, maybe very elevated wine, and the other one is beer, right? Hard to bring those two together. In entertainment, we all generally operate on the same pricing standpoint. And then for us, because we will have a lot of crossover between culinary, very efficient for us to interchange personnel back and forth. It's a very efficient way to grow the business with economic efficiencies.
Yeah, that's amazing. So there will be crossover on the menus. Can you talk a little bit about that? I know, and you aim for about 85% coming from food and beverage, right, for an entertainment concept?
Yeah, typically, my old company, we were 89% F&B. This Jaguar Bolera and Camp Pickle are closer to 80% F&B from a pro forma standpoint. We do always have an emphasis on the culinary. I'm sure you're aware that we have the first chef in the entertainment category to be a contestant on Top Chef, who is Manny Barea. He's competing right now.
Ah, this season?
He is.
Oh,
so
interesting, yeah.
Episode 4 aired last week, and he's still in it. He won the first episode. It's really exciting for us to watch his progress through the competition.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. Yeah. So with the idea that you might be looking at acquisition to add to the platform, then is there a type of concept that you're looking for within entertainment? I mean, there's so much going on in that world now.
The category has exploded.
Yeah.
When I got into this category 27 years ago, we were a decade before we were even calling it entertainment, right? So it's a lot about the criteria is expanding the white space, because why do we do this? We're in the for-profit segment of society.
Yeah, it's a business.
And anytime you can demonstrate that your available growth is expanded with multiple brands versus a single brand, that will increase your valuation multiple at exit. So for us, it absolutely has to make sense from a real estate expansion standpoint, not a lot of cannibalization, but then there has to be, it has to be a brand that has some integrity and brand equity to it as well. We're not opposed to acquiring nascent brands that we can use our expertise at guiding them through their evolution, all the way to more advanced enterprises, with 10, 15 existing locations.
So I know there's some crossover with the gaming on that side. You might have a pickleball court at a Jaguar Bolera, for example. It might have bowling at the Camp Pickle, right?
That's right.
Are you looking for concepts that would have that kind of perhaps shareable activity?
I shouldn't say we're activation agnostic, but what we are is we absolutely lean into a multiplicity of activations. So we have to have a number of them, even if one is the leader, like Camp Pickle, you're going to think about pickleball.
Right.
But when you get there, you're going to realize there's duck pin bowling and darts and, private karaoke,
right.
Other things to lean into. So the brands that we would acquire have to have either existing multiple activations, or we understand how we can expand the programming to get there.
Yeah. And last year, you actually you got some new investors, and you've raised some capital, and you have access, I think, to something like $200 million for expansion, right? And that's through partnerships with Simon, the mall operator.
That's
Simon.
right. So we took down some equity capital last year, and then we're also able to bring in significant institutional REITs to help with the real estate development itself. So we did not bring in $200 million of equity capital. We brought in $200 million of available resources to grow our brands.
And investors like Bill Allen, who's
That's right.
well known in the industry, Steve King.
And Simon, of course, as you mentioned.
And Simon, right? Yeah.
So it's been, even in this difficult capital climate, we were able to close on, meaningful equity last year. And I joke, I've been raising capital. I think I took one Christmas off since 1997 from raising capital. So it's a constant effort. And we were doing it yesterday, we'll be doing it tomorrow, and we'll be doing it 10 years from now.
Will it change once you actually have concepts open that people can go to and see and rave about?
It makes it easier.
Yeah.
I mean, you're aware of some of the institutional investors I brought in with my last company. That you can't bring in that level of capital or those specific investors at startup phase. Right?
Yeah.
So once you are operating, it completely changes the equation.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, is the idea that we've seen so many people jump into this space? As you said, there's been this explosion in eatertainment that eventually there's going to have to be some consolidation, and it's going to be a company like yours that's prepared to take on some of that consolidation as people look around and realize that there's too much competition out there, or for whatever reason need to sell. Is that the thinking?
I think there's been opportunities to rationalize the category for 5-6 years. That's how long I've been thinking about it and contemplating which pieces and parts fit together.
Yeah.
You can't just roll up everything because it falls in the category, right? It's got to make sense. It's got to be efficient with the other brands and work on the platform. But the category has to, it doesn't have to, but logically, it will roll up to a degree. The opportunities are there. There are a lot of players in the category that are new to it. They come out of casual dining. They figure out it is not the same species. And maybe they need guidance from groups that have been in entertainment longer. Those are going to be some of the opportunities also. Folks that are having some success, but could use a hand to reach real meaningful success.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me how quickly the consumer sentiment about going out to play and eat changed. After the pandemic, there was, beforehand it was, becoming a thing. People loved to do it, and then the pandemic came, scared everybody off. But for a very short period, it really seemed like people came running back to to concepts like this, where they
Right.
really it gave them more of an experience, something to do, as well as having a drink. And
It's just sort of a distillation of what millennials and Gen Z were doing before COVID, right?
Right.
I mean, they have been leaning into experiential F&B for a while, experiential retail, and when that was taken from them during COVID, they came back with a vengeance, and they demand it. They have required or prefer an activity while they're eating for a long time, and now with I wouldn't say surplus of brands out there, but a lot more brands
Yeah.
out there. It's more part of a daily life now.
yeah, for sure. And it seems like they're anxious to try new things. So that's why it's really interesting to see, the concepts like these people are going to be running to, because it's something new out there compared with.
That's
Yes,
right, and
like-
the key is to be differentiated. So and for us, it's always the integrity to the food and beverage programming and the design format.
Yeah, yeah. Now you also have a hotel in New Orleans, the Frenchman, right? And you've got the beverage. It's a bar, Three Saints Revival in Denver.
That's right, and those are operating and having a good time. with them, so.
Anything else that you've invested in, or
No, I am focused almost exclusively on Joy Trade as a platform.
Yeah.
The opportunity is too big, and I do not want to miss it. It's what I've done for 27 years in the category. During COVID, I thought I would step out, but it was a Godfather moment for me.
Yeah, they
where,
they pulled you back
They
in.
pulled me back in. So.
Joy Trade will be based where?
Denver.
In Denver?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Well, Robert, thank you so much for sharing. This
Yeah,
has been
it's good to see you.
great.